Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about setting agenda for Governor Godwin Obaseki and, of course, his Deputy Comrade Philip Shaibu. Yes, this is the beginning of the run for the second term. With me here in the studio, I have a local government boss. Yes, one of the local governments. Join me to welcome Honorable Napoleon Agbama. Honorable sir, welcome to TMI.
Good morning, Winston. Good morning, viewers.
Your coming. All right. You get to hear once a soldier, always a soldier. So once a commissioner, always a commissioner. Here, former commissioner for chieftaincy and local government affairs. Join me to welcome Honorable Monday Osaibovo. Welcome to TMI Sunday's edition. Appreciate your coming, Honorable. All right.
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
All right. And of course, you get to hear the law and Islamic scholar just in one person. Join me to welcome Alhaji Alao Amin, who is also a legal practitioner. Welcome to TI, Alhaji.
Thank you very much,
I appreciate your
Good
comment.
morning, viewers.
All right. I will start with the local government boss, because after the state is the local government. Now, this is the second time the governor is coming to govern Edo State. And people have been asking so many questions. I'm going to start off by being a straight shooter. Now, we have aspects of Edo State that people want the governor to really work on. Though he talked about youth drive. But we're asking just one question first. Before you start, you'll be able to balance the house, knowing fully well that somewhere along the line we have two parties in one party. How do you think the government of the day will be able to carry these people in this ship along? The PDP and of course the APC faction that are now in PDP, balancing the offices and all that.
Thank you very much, Wilson. When I listen to people saying setting agenda for the governor, I don't think that language is correct, because the governor himself has set agenda for himself. It's because of that agenda that is run through his first tenure that led everybody to earmarks, vote for him for this second tenure. Otherwise, like you know, the problem of nomination or whatever, otherwise the election would have been easy for him, because he has set agenda that is already very, very acceptable by the people. That is why he got the election. I want to let you understand that, yes, a number of people from APC, including ourselves, came to join the PDP, some of the PDP too, because some left with the opposite aspirant too. That will not cause any problem, because I believe the leadership of PDP and the governor himself, people who reason very rightly, and I believe that will not cause any problem hindering the movement or the developmental strive of the governor in the state.
All right. Now, from what he said, it will be a smooth sail because of the caliber of persons in both parties that are now in one party. Alhaji, I'll come to you subsequently. But now, since both of you belong to the same party, Honorable Osaibovo, the same question I'm going to throw at you before I allow Alhaji come into the picture. From what you rightly said, they said when you say that agenda is not that because the agenda has been set already. But he's saying that there's some aspects that need to be fine-tuned. And of course, with a combination of parties, how is it going to operate?
Well, first of all, let me join to say thank you this morning. We have one political party, the PDP. That is the party in which we contested the election. So the issue of setting agenda and what would you do is out of it. The PDP has a constitution, has an agenda. His Excellency has agenda which the people were aware when he was campaigning. And people were also aware in his first tenure. So the issue of agenda or what he's going to do is, to me, it's not it's out of it. Everybody, including you, is already aware of what he's coming to do. Continuation of what he was doing, and then new ones where the fund is available. So there will be no conflict in in his job. There will be no conflict in agenda if we have to use the word agenda. I do not think there is any problem. And we joined the PDP, like he said. Some also left as we were joining. So the PDP is the political party. Yes. So there is no issue of there is a faction or there is no faction. A faction does not contest election. It is political party that contests election. And that is the political parties in which we contest election and won. So there is no problem.
Al-Haji, you've heard both of them. They said there's no issue. There are no issues. That's going to continue from where he's stopped. We have the mega agenda, make Edo great again. Do you have divergent views and opinions from their opinions?
Thank you very much. You know, I always speak from the religious point of view. And setting agenda for the governor, of course, as has been rightly said, the governor has set an agenda for himself. But that notwithstanding, there are expectations from the people of Edo State. And at this time now, we now have the governor of Edo State, not the governor of APC or the governor of PDP or the governor of any other party. It is the Edo State governor. And it also follows that it is time now to drop the blowing of trumpet that we made you to assume that office. Because I do always say before the elections that before the creation of Nigeria, before the creation of the Midwestern state, before the creation of Bende State, former Bende State, and Edo State, Almighty God has decreed those who will be governors in this state for years to come. So, whoever God has decreed to be the governor will definitely emerge as the governor, whether you like it or not. And that explains why, at the first time when the governor was brought out, I was, who is this person? We don't know him, and we don't know this person. But God said that God have chosen. And in line with his name, God win, and God won. Second time, God won. So, we should not overblow the issue of we put him there. It is Almighty God who has appointed a leader for us. That is one. Having said that, that leader should know that he is a vicegerent of God. He is accountable to God. He has immunity while he's in office. All of us are enjoying immunity anyway. Nobody is not enjoying immunity. Because God said in the point of the Quran that if God punish men for their sins, not one creature will remain on the surface of the earth. That's what he said. He said, if I decide to punish you for your sins, not one of you will remain on the surface of the earth. He said, but I've only left you until you come back to me. So that should be at the back of the mind of the governor, that I am accountable to God. Now, without fear of God in me, when it now comes to appointing those to be your advisor, those to work with you, you think of competence, those who are qualified. This is not an era of mediocrity. Oh, because this person is my party member. Oh, this person financed my election. That should not be. It should be the person that is qualified, the person that is competent. And of course, that's what happened the first 2016. When the former governor said, this person I know him too well is the brain behind the source of my administration. So I'm bringing him out for you people to say it. Okay. And we have seen that it's good. Okay. Now, so the governor is a governor for everybody. And then the agenda should be focused towards ameliorating the sufferings of the people in Edo State. Security challenges, good roads, hospitals. Okay, for example now, if I belong to a particular party and I have a mechanic in my party, who cannot fix my engine, will I give him? All right. I will give the engine to the party man who can fix. Who my party who are not. We'll come to that one. Let us come to that now. He just gave an example. We don't want to dive. They're talking about, don't want to put out the May. People are like, putting the appointment. Thank God for that. Others will come up February, first week of February. Now, talking about appointments still on unification of the party. One party settling each and every company that contributed meaningfully to the election of the governor. He talked about competence. I talked about party. What will you advise the governor to do in this regard? Because whether you like it or not, we have two in one party. Though it's one party, no factions, but we have interests. Because according to report, it was this interest that caused the chaos in previous administration. They were able to overcome it. How do you think he's going to manage this?
Thank you very much. If you are saying the former party and this party, I will just tell you, like I said earlier, that there is a very great difference. Yes, there is an interest. Interest now today is, like you said, who is that man, who is that woman that is capable of doing what the Edo people, the ordinary people, would love to see from a ministry, from any organization of government. And I do know, and that is why, like I said earlier, the governor himself, at the beginning of his first tenure, people refer to him as a technocrat, including so many of his aides, commissioners, special advisors, and all others. And that is why you see the performances during that first tenure. And I believe you ought to continue in that line. Because he never believed in just because you are a party person, you have to put you there and you cannot do anything. So if a technocrat or any other person who are not even a politician, who can really give the best that he wants for the people of the state, he must not fail, because he has never failed in such direction. And that is why you see what he has done in Edo best. Very marvelous. Even before now, you talk about security just now. You have know the essence of security lashes everywhere. And that is why I believe by what you saw yesterday or day before yesterday, over 500 youth constables that were put in place there. It has been, that program has been on for more than a year. We saw him on television where he met with the IG and top federal persons over having community policing. And that is where I believe within now the next few weeks, you will see them all over the state in collaboration with the federal security agencies. And that can curb this insecurity everywhere, because he has been saying it that to curb this insecurity, you need indigenous people called police, community policing. So he even gave us an example when you do Anini Stagger. During Anini Stagger, Babangida employed all the police officers that come from Edo, and it was those who came that were able to do apprehend Anini. Somebody from Sokoto, being a DPO here, a sergeant here, do not know the terrain of our area. For those who are the first to come out, and I believe more is going to be, that will help security architecture in the states. And I believe just that line, the governor of the state is very, very serious, very, very interested in making sure that whether in any ministry or in any parasector, those who are fit proper to do it are the people that will go there.
All right. Now, let me come to you on the aspect of job creation. Many of the opinion that the jobs given right now to some persons that are not pensionable. Do you think the governor will work on that in this administration to at least make it permanent? One was saying that once the administration ends, that means their job, one way or the other, will just come to an end, that this is not a solid employment. What do you say about that?
Well, first of all, let me say that government cannot give employment to everybody. Government has a limit. You cannot have, for example, 2 commissioners in one ministry if it's going to be a permanent position. You cannot have 2 permanent secretaries in the ministry if it's going to be a permanent position. So there is a limit government can do. Because there is a limit government can do, that is why the government of Edo State, led by the governor, sat down and said, let's look at Benin Technical School, where people can learn, work, and now be a master of their own, where they can also employ. Innovation Center. So let's start with this so that people will know what we are trying to do at the Benin Technical School. When there is 24-hour light, you can weld, you can do everything. You can even go there and do your filming and every other thing without season light throughout the period. You can also employ. That's saying that government has to do all employment. It is not going to be possible. I have a farm. It is from my farm I go into politics. I also go back to my farm. I have my workers in the farm. And some of them are also leaving me when they have a good land, and then they start their own, and then again they employ people. So the issue of government employment, yes, government is doing a lot. Government is doing employment. Of recent, before I left Agric, 47 people were employed. And these days too, you don't have to employ somebody who does not have anything to do in that ministry. Why would you go and employ somebody who read law in the Ministry of Agriculture? When maybe you have first, maybe there are 5 lawyers already there who are to just prepare a brief and send to the Ministry of Justice to do their own. Then you need to look for a soil scientist, you need to look for an agronomist, you need to look for an agric engineer. You understand? So government is not just doing employment, government is doing employment to fill a vacant position that you are putting a square peg in a square hole.
All right. Alhaji, about the employment saga, well, he has thrown more light on that. Even Honorable talked about constables being employed. But some of the opinion that these, they are not permanent, they are not pensionable, that they want something permanent. Take it up from there.
Thank you very much. As has been mentioned, the government cannot be responsible for everything. The government is not God. The government has limits as well. And so, if you are given an employment, whether pensionable or not, then of course from your spare time, you can, and then from your income, you can also try to see how you can be investing and saving for the rainy day. Because in as much as we are very good in criticizing the government, whatever little thing or good thing that the government does too, we should also appreciate it to encourage them to do more. Because the problem, the global problem is so enormous. As you can see, it's not only Nigeria that is feeling the impact. We have what's called the global economic meltdown. And then all this cannot be severed. They are all tied to the end time that we are already witnessing. As far back as when the naira and the pounds were of the same value, people were complaining and lamenting that things were difficult. Then, because everyone cannot be on the same pedestal, fingers can never be equal. And at the time when people are complaining that things are bad, things are tough, we see people who are thanking Almighty God. And so, we are all government. The government is not just the governor, or the deputy governor, or the commissioners. All of us, we have roles to play, and we should not shy away from our responsibility to collectively ensure that we make sure that our society is a better place. And then this can be properly done when we all ensure that there is no disconnect between what we hear from the place of worship and what we practicalize when we come to town. Because it's very unfortunate that majority of those of us at the end of our affairs, Muslims and Christians, we see what the Bible says, we see what the Quran says, but we are acting contrarily, opposite, in the guise of Nigeria is a secular state. If Nigeria is a secular state, and your hand did not be amputated as a Muslim for stealing, does that not mean that it is wrong to steal? The principle, love thy neighbor as thyself. If everybody has that at the back of their mind, you know that this job I'm giving, whether personal or not, this service I'm called to render, and to assist the people, and to make sacrifice. But unfortunately, people see call to service as call to come and eat, call to loot. But it's not so. And that is one of the principles of the present governor, saying that when you are called to service, it's not business as usual. That you say, once I become a commissioner, then I become a millionaire. No, you are coming to serve. So if you know you cannot serve, you cannot make sacrifice. We have people in the past who are not even collecting salaries because they are well to do. We have that with the annals of Islam. People who are rich, and when they are put in office, they say, no, I don't need salary, I'm already comfortable. Okay. So we need to all come, make sacrifice, and then so that we can prepare a better future for our children.
Okay. All right. Yes,
I want to add to what the commissioner have just said, just like that. You know, government cannot give every one of us employment. But what government does is to give you an enabling environment that will be very conducive for you to strive, either as a tailor, as a farmer, as a artisan, whatever artisan that area you belongs to. And that is why you see the government of Edo State, under the leadership of Godwin Obaseki, have tried by bringing in Oshomole electricity, it's something. That is to add to our own national grid, to make sure that we are self-sufficient in power. In security, like I told you earlier just now, that it is only where there is peace that investors can come to any state or any local government. And that is what is working towards, to make sure that very soon there will be peace so that investors can come in. It has made it so easy for people, who are farmers especially, who before now, after bomber harvest, it will be difficult to sell their crops. A crops like plantain or whatever. Even before I came into this program just now, somebody called and said he is an off-taker of plantain and banana. That is aware that in my local government we have much of it. And I said, meet me in the office on Monday, so that I can link you with those communities. Those communities now be happy having our take all of those products. And that is what government can always do for you. And this is what the governor has been doing for people. Even for into poultry, those who are doing poultry, animal husbandry or whatever, they are now having off-taker who now just come without having a cost to bring all those things down to market or Rama Park or whatever to sell. Just to take it at ease. That will increase their productivity, that will increase their amount of going more into that area of investment.
Right.
Well, before your next question, let me just talk about the police constable that is going on, that just finished their training. As then Commissioner for Local Government and Community Affairs, I was fully involved from the beginning to the end. They were selected from various communities. The first thing that will solve insecurity to a level is the information that the man who is going to deal with the crisis has from the beginning. So when they were being selected from the various communities, no politicians were involved in selecting them. It was the opinion leaders, traditional rulers, churches, mosques, youths that did the selection. And after the selection, these were not the only people. The list was given to the higher security to look at these people at various levels without them knowing before they came out with the first list. So the information that they are going to be providing, if you read at the Police Act or law where the constabulary is being taken care of, they have the right for arrest, they have a right to prosecute. So at the end of the day, when the lawyer has a good information from his client, his case is easy. Instead of the client to hide some information for him, and he believes that the information that my clients gave to me is what I will use in the court. But at the time he will be cross-examined according to the lawyer. Then he has an alternative to ask for adjournment. So that he can now call his client and say, what of this? You did not tell me this area.
New facts are emerging.
Yes. So that is about that.
All right. Now, some of the opinion that, look, when we talk about the first term of a particular government, it's all smooth, all rosy. But when it gets to the second term, it starts hearing stories, starts seeing promises not being fulfilled. How do you think the governor should avoid that pitfall? They call it pitfall, the second term syndrome. They did not perform more than what they did in the first term. Alhaji, I want you to start up with that.
Thank you very much. Yes. If we look at the scenario, the incoming of the second tenure of the governor, it is somehow so unfortunate. The quantum of money that was expended, you know, in the electoral campaign and the rest of it. And this is the same fund that the state require to make progress. And it's simply because Nigerians are not ready to make sacrifice. You ask somebody, what's your occupation? I'm a politician. You are not a farmer, you are not a lawyer, you are not a mechanic, who are you? What is your, I'm a politician. Now, and this is the problem we have. The same thing, if you are a religious leader, you do not have a farm, you do not have anything you are doing, you will be corrupt because you need to eat. So the same thing. So this is the first problem. And the governor is someone who is ready to transform the state. But if the fund is not available, there's a problem. I will now advise prioritize your programs.
Prioritize?
Yes, prioritize your programs.
Okay.
Which are the ones that are more important? Face the ones that are more important, and then start dealing with them. You see, it's not possible for any governor to under 4 years, perform all that is necessary. And that's why they always come to repeat. They say, oh, for 4 years I want to repeat the class, and go and ask him for more time. Before I know what's happening, 8 years will complete. I always found Islam. That's why in Islam, once you appoint a leader, you choose a leader, he remains in office for life. But now he has to go after another 4 years. Now, there should be discipline, and the advantage the governor has is that there is nobody you need to please again because you are seeking another election. No. So use the money for the state, use the resources for the state.
All right.
So the issue of, if I do not please X, Y, and Z, I may not be returned. It's no longer there. So they should concentrate.
Okay. I'll come back to you, Alhaji. The same question to you, Honorable. As a local government boss, the first term, second term, that pitfall, probably it's like a syndrome in Nigeria. For the first term, the governors, they are up and they are doing everything possible. But when it comes to second term, there is a drop in activities. Do you think that may play itself out in this administration?
Not at all. In Edo State, that would not play. So if for the governor that I know, for the some years back now, that will not play at all in Edo State. If I'm not fully correct, in Edo State is the only governor that I have seen, or even in Nigeria, doing election and paying the salary as and when due. After the election, still paying salary as and when due. That shows to you that the fear that you raise will not be there, even if we are not going to look at that area. Today, most of the major road that is doing, the contractors are all come back to site. They are all working. They would even be on site earlier than now, if not because of the problem of NSAS and whatever. COVID. So no, that shows to you that that fear or that thought will not arise under Governor Obaseki. He's an economist. He put everything on table before. He doesn't just talk before thinking. He thinks and perfects every other thing before talking. So therefore, that is why, at the earlier stage of his first tenure, people make him governor we can see. So definitely you are going to have more of his activities, more of his program this time around.
So there's no cause for alarm, no cause to fear. Now, as a commissioner, you've been with the governor in his cabinet, and of course you know some top things that many of us are not privy to. And right now, this is the second time. Apart from the pitfall, the fear, what other aspect do you think that the governor can get involved in to make Edo great again, to make that mega come into fruition?
Well, first, what the governor is going to left behind is then that you are going to believe that governor do planning before execution. Everything that the government is doing must be planned, must be reviewed, must be argued before the execution starts. You know, when the power plant came up, people were doubting it. Even the seaport, people are still doubting it. It is not possible for you to born a baby today and the baby will start talking. So when this thing starts manifesting, these are the legacies the His Excellency is going to leave behind. His belief is that Alhaji should be helped to buy the law books. Alhaji should be introduced to where people will be consulting him regularly, so that to enable him have more or two other staffs to himself. Not government saying, bring these jobs to the ministry. You understand? And he also believes in personal supervision. You think he does not go to most of these sites where projects are being done. The time you see people on television with him in supervising jobs, he has been there so many times and tell the contractor, don't deviate from what you have on paper. If you deviate, you have a problem. And two, all the contractors have their money. They are the one owning the state. The state is not owning them because of his planning. He believes that this road will take you 24 months to complete. And in about 2 or 3 months, there will be rainy season. And therefore, it's natural you will stop work. Even at that particular period, he still pays you to ensure that when you are going to continue, you will not have a speed because you have the money on ground. So there is not going to be any delay, there's not going to be any...
Right. So that means it will be greater again.
Yes. It's going to be great and great.
It's like 3 of you are vouching for the governor, Mr. Governor.
No, that is the truth. He is not a political member of the party. So many people in the state.
Okay. All right. Well, you have 1 minute each to summarize according to the time limit here. So our time is up, almost 45 minutes or 30 minutes or thereabout. Now, what advice do you have for Edo citizens?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Edo citizens, I will advise you all to be ready to join hands with the leadership. Prophet Islam said in one tradition that good leaders are those you love and who love you, who you pray for and who pray for you, and bad leaders are those you hate and who hate you, who you curse and who curse you. We have been seeing a lot of congratulatory messages on air related to the governor. I think it's time to now go to the corner of your room and pray for the governor. Very, very importantly too, I advise the governor or those in charge of appointments, whosoever longs or lobby for appointments, the people, they should not be appointed.
I think it's not a crime to lobby. They can lobby.
You know why I'm saying so?
Yes.
You know why I'm saying so?
Yeah.
I'm talking in line with the tradition of the prophets.
All right.
That whosoever lobbies or longs for positions should not be appointed. And then the reason is very clear, that do not ask for public office to be appointed. That if you are asked by it, will be changed down by its responsibility.
Right.
But if you are given on competence or not asking, Almighty God will aid you in the discharge of your responsibility so that you can succeed.
Thank you. Speaking like a true Islamic scholar. All right, Honorable, 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to appeal to the good people of Edo State to be very patient and prayerful with the governor. With the first appointment the governor has made, the SSG Osarudin Ogie, congratulate him, and I know very well that he's working perfectly with the governor. And I do know with the combination of himself and the governor, and the deputy governor, definitely, like I said, Edo is going to be great again.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable.
Well, while thanking the people of Edo State for what they have done, I just want to remind them that Edo State or government does not have money for itself. There is no money that is government money. The money is for the people. And therefore, I appeal to them to pay their tax.
Right. They should pay their tax. Wow. You've heard them, you've heard them. They've spoken at length. But Mr. Governor, I know you are watching. High hopes, expectations are so high. Please, hey, do not let us down, all right? Like what Elijah rightly said, if you're out there, Christian, Muslim, pray for the government of the day so that those pitfalls, second term, will not occur in this administration. We want to go higher and higher so that they do but great again. Gentlemen, I appreciate your wonderful analysis. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
TMI continues in a moment. Good morning.